It was 4 days before Christmas. A fisherman stood at the edge of a frozen pond in the quiet town of Coventry, Rhode Island. The kind of place where nothing ever really happens. The kind of place where people go to escape the noise of the world. But that morning, beneath the ice, he found her. A young woman, shoeless, motionless, gone. And what investigators would uncover over the next 2 years would shake an entire state to its core. Because this wasn't a random act of violence. This was a plan, a cold, calculated betrayal carried out by the 2 people she trusted enough to open her door to at 2:30 in the morning. This is the story of Leila Duarte DaLuz. Leila Duarte DaLuz was 34 years old, born in the island nation of Cabo Verde, and she carried with her all the ambition and hope of someone who believed in the promise of a new life. She was educated, a college degree, a master's degree, a woman with dreams larger than the small apartment she kept in Brockton, Massachusetts. She was also pregnant, and the man who had put that life inside her was the same man who would take hers. December 21st, 2022, the winter solstice, the longest, darkest night of the year. At approximately 2:30 in the morning, a car pulled up outside Leila's home in Brockton. Inside were 2 men, Gary Gromkiewicz, Leila's ex-boyfriend, the father of her unborn child, and his associate, Michael Lambert. Lambert was no stranger to darkness. He had been convicted of murder once before. Back in 1994, when he was just 17 years old, he killed a homeless man in Providence on Thanksgiving Day. He had served his time. He had been released on parole. In 2022, the very same year Leila would die. These 2 men, one a convicted killer walking free, the other on probation for felony assault, made the drive from Rhode Island to Brockton in the dead of night, and Leila, trusting, let them in. She had no idea what was coming. What happened next was reconstructed piece by piece through something the killers didn't count on: their phones. Cell phone towers, surveillance cameras at gas stations and convenience stores, the invisible digital trail that we all leave without thinking about it. Investigators mapped it all out. 3 phones, 3 people, moving together through Rhode Island in the dark hours before dawn, through Warwick, through gas stations, through neighborhoods that had no idea a woman was running out of time in that car. Then, at some point, something happened. Gary Gromkiewicz's phone went silent. It stopped connecting to cell towers entirely, a blackout between 5:05 a.m. and 8:14 a.m. Whether that was intentional or not, we cannot say for certain. But Lambert's phone and Leila's phone kept moving. At 6:18 a.m., they arrived in western Coventry, near the water, near Carbuncle Pond. When Leila's body was pulled from beneath the ice, she had no shoes, no socks, 6 lacerations on her head, 6 blows. The medical examiner, Dr. Alexander Cherkov, took the stand during trial and delivered testimony that silenced the courtroom. He said the lacerations could not have come from an accidental fall, and then he said the words that haunt this case more than any other. She was alive when she was submerged. They had beaten her, and then they had put her, breathing, still breathing, into that freezing pond and left her there, beneath the ice. 4 days before Christmas. In the days after Leila's body was discovered, the men tried to clean up their tracks. Lambert reached out to a close friend and told her they needed to get rid of stuff: a pair of shoes, a box of gloves. Gromkiewicz called a friend and asked her to provide a false alibi for December 21st, to say she was with him, to lie. And in perhaps the most chilling detail of all, before Leila's body was even found, Gromkiewicz had called someone and said with a coldness that is almost incomprehensible, "I'm all set. I have a girlfriend. I don't want anything to do with Leila. If you find her,
Don't call me. I don't care. If you find her. He already knew where she was. The trial lasted 10 days. In a rare legal move, Judge Luis Matos seated 2 separate juries, one for each defendant, in the same courtroom at the same time. On January 17, 2025, both juries returned their verdicts simultaneously. Guilty. First-degree murder. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. On March 28, 2025, Gary Gromkiewicz and Michael Lambert were each sentenced to life in prison plus 10 additional years. Lambert stood before the judge and said, "I love Leila Duarte DaLuz. I did not kill her. I will remain innocent until I die." The jury had already decided otherwise. Leila Duarte DaLuz was an immigrant, a daughter, a woman with a college education, a master's degree, and a child she would never get to hold. She opened her door in the middle of the night to someone she had once loved and trusted with her life. That trust cost her everything. But the digital breadcrumbs they left behind, every cell tower ping, every gas station camera, every lie told to a friend, built a cage around the 2 men who thought they could disappear into the dark of a Rhode Island winter and never be found. Justice moved slowly, but it moved. Rest in peace, Leila.